Welcome back to Shark Sports Wrap here on 6:40 a.m. I'm Tony Segreto. Once again, we're happy that you're joining us here on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and once again joining us, certainly one of my favorite guests.
Oh, thank you.
LeAnn Freeland, she's the head women's basketball coach here at NSU. First of all, happy Thanksgiving. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
Always wonderful. My husband's a great cook, and he spent a lot of time in the kitchen over the last couple of days. Had our his sister and daughter in town, and had a great time.
You're a blessed woman to have a husband that cooks.
He's wonderful. He really is. He is a good guy. He really is. He does it all. He really does. And I mean, when your wife is a college basketball coach, you got to be prepared for that. Yeah. And he has to do a lot of things around the house, and he's been great.
Now, the athletes, what do they do for Thanksgiving? What did your girls do?
Well, Jessica Walter is a player from Tennessee, one of our senior captains, and her family's actually in town. They rented a condo, so the players who weren't local went over to the condo and ate as a family, and they had a great time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be thankful for. You have a wonderful young team here, and you have to be and thankful that you're back here. You're here in South Florida. When you think back what's going on in Indianapolis this weekend in terms of the weather, you've got to be loving it here.
Yeah, we do. We love everything about it. My husband and I are very happy to be back in South Florida, and our players have been amazing, and we're just continuing to grow every day right now. My family's really at NSU with women's basketball, and my husband, he's like, am I ever going to see you? But it's been really good, and it's been an exciting time for all of us.
Let's talk about a couple of games here. One in particular, you win in overtime.
Right.
What a great testimony to what you've established already early on here. New coach, new system, new players, them trying to buy into what you're trying to accomplish. An overtime win, what a great building block for this team. I have to believe you're thrilled with that.
Yeah, anytime you win, you're going to be happy, but the players could attest to what I'm about to say, and that we're really not satisfied with where we're at right now. We're still trying to develop trust with our philosophies, and we've won some games, but still we could be a lot better. We could be a lot better right now, and that's the one thing that we continue to talk about as a group, and the ladies are right on board. When we win a game, I don't think that they're expecting, oh, great job, you guys are the best. It's more like, okay, I wonder what we're going to hear now with how much we can get better. So again, I think we've done some nice things, but we're definitely not satisfied. We spent a lot of time watching film, and you know, you have to look at it from what the other coach who you're about to play, what they're seeing, and trying to eliminate weaknesses. And we still do have a few at this point, and we're trying to get our field goal percentage up, our three-point field goal percentage up, and definitely we need to eliminate turnovers. So those are really focal points right now. Defensively, we're still pretty strong, but we can still really improve our positioning on defense and so forth. So there are a lot of things we can improve on.
But an overtime win, I think, at least gives the women the idea that, okay, this is never over.
Right.
And we may have put ourselves in this position because of turnovers or because of making mistakes that we really shouldn't have made.
Right.
But we can also overcome them if we stick to the philosophy and play the game we're taught to be played.
Yeah, well, definitely when we played Concordia St. Paul, they're a very good program out of Minnesota. And in the overtime win, we won 15-1 in overtime. And Jessica Rusi out of Lake Mary, Florida, and Alexandra Porter out of Chantilly, Virginia, were phenomenal in that run. And it's been fun. It's been fun to see who steps up when. And I think we've had numerous players step up in important times in the games. And that's good for a coach to see. Right now we have 4 players in double figures, and putting out several points on the board. We just need to get a little more consistent, as we've already talked about, with making an easy pass instead of trying to force things that maybe aren't there.
Have you developed that go-to player?
No, I think we have several we could go to. I think Alexandra Porter is really strong. She's our Colorado State transfer. We've got Danielle Robinson from South Broward, who's been very consistent. Again, Jessica Rusi, I think she surprised a lot of people as a sophomore. We saw a lot of great things out of her, but she's really been consistent at both rebounding and scoring. And Jasmine Wilkins, I think she's definitely someone we need to look to more, and is still trying to find herself within the offense, but once she does, she's going to be hard to stop.
The tale of two cities. You win an overtime game over Concordia, and then you play a team from Puerto Rico and you win by 50.
Well, that's what, and you have to respect your opponents every night out.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'm not saying there's any
Right.
disrespect,
Yeah.
but here you have this tight game.
Yes.
And then the next time you're out, you're winning by, 50.
Yeah.
Winning by double figures is enough, but by 50.
Yeah, in the Puerto Rican teams, you never know who's going to show up in the gym, and you never know the style of play they're going to have on offense or defense. And again, it's one of those things where, we'll probably put them on the schedule, probably one team every year, because everyone else in the league does it, and it is a region counter for us. So it is kind of one of those games that you hope to get better from. And there were times during that game that I thought we did some nice things, and other times I thought we went away from our defensive principles because we got greedy and wanted that steal instead of just relying on our principles. So, those games coaches don't really enjoy a whole lot, to be honest with you, because sometimes you actually do develop some bad habits from them.
What have you learned as a coach, not about your team, but about yourself?
You mean over the years as a head coach?
No, just over the first 4 or 5 games here.
I'm pretty consistent. I don't know if I really learned anything more. I think this is a group that probably needs a kick in the pants a little bit more frequently than maybe
every
what
group
I'm
is
used
different,
to.
yeah.
Right,
right
and
right.
I think maybe that's one thing that, and they learn to expect that at that point from me, or at this point from me. So probably what the group needs is what I'm kind of learning at this point.
And are you satisfied with the progress so far?
Not really. I'm not really the kind of person that's ever satisfied when I was a player or as an assistant coach. I don't know. I don't know if any great player or any great coach is ever satisfied. You can be pleased with the outcome or pleased with the record, but if you become satisfied, you become complacent, and you really don't improve. And I think everyone can improve every day if that's the goal, to be better at whatever you do.
Well, you're busy coaching. You've got games coming up. You've got a game tonight. Hopefully people will come out and watch the game tonight. But while all this is going on, you also have been out recruiting, and you have an early signee right from across the street here at Nova High School. So tell us about her.
Yeah, Khadijah Young. We're really excited to have signed her. She is a 5'7" guard over at Nova High School, coached by a very great coach in Jason Hively. One of the best teams in the state of Florida, and great fit for us and what we do. She can play pretty much any position, and is a fighter and has a lot of heart, and definitely is a winner. So, we saw her a lot over the summer and made it a point to get to know some of the local high schools, and we offered some other players in the area that decided to go elsewhere. But she was someone who committed after being on campus for 2.5 hours. So those are the players we love because we know it was a perfect fit. And we really enjoyed watching her even early on in the season. She's averaging a double-double for them, and they're undefeated. So good stuff.
Let me ask you about something you just hit on with this new signing. A lot of heart and a lot of desire. Loaded question. You have 2 athletes. You have an athlete who's an overachiever, great heart, great desire, hard worker. You have an athlete who has all the talent in the world. The kick in the pants has to come, as in your words, has to come every day, every hour. Tends to be a little bit lazy. Which one do you go for?
Do you know which one? I'm going to take the one with the heart and the discipline, and those are the players who are going to win championships for you and for the program, and they're fun to be around too. I was talking to the head coach at the University of Michigan over the summer, and he said some nice things. He's like, you need to always recruit players you like to be around, that you feel good about it. And I think we're definitely recruiting players that we feel really good about and that we can trust and enjoy being around, because it is a family. It really is. And
I think it's a great word, because really you spend a lot of time together, a lot of time together. And having the team bond is as critical as them executing the style of offense and defense you want.
Right, and it all goes together. It really does. It's, you have to have the chemistry. It starts with trust and love for one another and wanting to play for and with each other. And we're showing signs of that every day. We're not putting 40 minutes together at this point, but I'm not sure there are any teams that are or would want to in November. You want to be there in March. So we keep emphasizing those things every day, and our ladies are definitely buying in.
It has to be, just from my experiences too, it's a nightmare if you're on a team. Boys don't get along. If there's infighting, because then it really does show on the field.
It definitely
around
does.
The court.
Yeah, it always shows. And as a coach, I see that even in film, and I can always tell going into games that we're going to be the stronger unit. And generally speaking, in our sport, the stronger unit wins. And individual talent will only take you so far. And in crunch time, you got to have a team that believes in one another. And that's why, as you stated, the overtime win and some of the close games we've won have shown a lot of heart and belief in one another late in the game when the pressure is on.
When you prepare for a game, and you hit on something when you're looking at the film and you're looking at your weaknesses. How often do you prepare your team based on if you were playing your team?
Well, I think you almost have to look at that every time. And at this point, we're not shooting real well from three, so we have seen quite a bit of zone. And we've talked a lot about that is a possibility. And especially, three-point line was moved back a foot. And I don't think, we're definitely not the only team that is struggling a little bit from three. So those are some things that we definitely focus in on, what the other coach would be thinking going into the game and trying to be one step ahead of the opposing coach. I think our staff does a pretty good job of that.
Well, you have a big game coming up tonight. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, 4 o'clock game, Southwest Minnesota, another Midwestern team, and exactly what you would expect.
They gotta love being down here this weekend.
Yeah, they are very excited. I think they were expecting snow, or maybe even had snow this past week, and they're definitely excited. But a lot of the teams we played early are big, strong Midwestern teams, very skilled, have size on us. So it's going to be very important for us to defend on the block and block out.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's
and
always a pleasure to be here.
We're very thankful on this Thanksgiving weekend that you're here with us now, and we're very hopeful that a lot of great things are coming our way because you're here.
Thank you.
It's great to have you, as always, LeAnn Freeland. And come on out to the Don Taft University Center. Tip-off is at 4 o'clock today. Great brand of basketball, and support the NSU Sharks. That'll do it for us. This Shark Sports Wrap has been another quick hour, and we thank you so much for joining us here at 6:40 a.m. We will be here with you every Saturday morning at 8:30, bright and early. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.